Hello, Dirigo followers. It's Christian Behr with Dirigo Safety, and today we're having a conversation with our law enforcement liaisons through the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety, Jim Willis and Pat Hood. Jim and Pat coordinate all of the highway safety programs through the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety with all of our local law enforcement agencies.
Pat and I are employees of Dirigo Safety who are assigned full-time to the Bureau of Highway Safety to work as law enforcement liaisons. Essentially, we're the connection for Maine's law enforcement community to all of Bureau of Highway Safety's efforts to help keep people safe on our roads.
In the Bureau of Highway Safety may mean different things to different agencies. For instance, I came from the state police, and that was under our umbrella at the Department of Public Safety, but under a different office. One of our lieutenants in the traffic safety office shepherded all of those funds and pushed them out to each field troop. That's different how a local police department or a sheriff's department works. So those relationships are certainly different with each agency across the state. And it's our job to go in and meet with these agencies and find out what's working well, what challenges there are, and how we collectively can work through those to make that a better relationship going forward.
And some of the things that we work with agencies on are grant funding that's available for impaired driving enforcement, speed enforcement, occupant protection. There's forensic phlebotomy for agencies that have a hard time getting people to take their blood tests. We can provide training. There's a civilian forensic phlebotomy that we can reimburse people to come out and do blood draws for impaired driving. We have an updated program. I used to be called e-citation, that's now called e-stop. And e-stop is something that's been really popular. I've been in agencies several times a week doing demonstrations, showing chiefs how it works and the different functions that it has.
That program, what we found, I guess, most called for at this point is the fact that there's a tool in there that is going to help us as law enforcement officers collect the demographic data collection that's required by one of the new legislative directions coming up. That's actually set to go into full effect I think it's July 1st of 2024. So it's a tool that's out there that some agencies are finding is a fix for, I guess, the question on how are we going to collect that data. And it's, again, a conversation that Jim and I are able to have and say, we may have a fix for this problem. And what's also great about our job is we go across the state. There are other agencies that have come up with fixes of their own in order to collect that data.
We have the newest version always installed on our laptops that we can bring along and show everyone how it works, what the future may hold. We're part of a work group that we get to put input into how it's being developed and how it can be more functional for agencies. So if anyone has thoughts along those lines, you can just give us a call. I've done 3 supports this week along with the company that writes the software to help people figure out how to access different parts of the program as they're learning it.
I think field work is the big part of our job because we both come from the field. Jim and his municipal side does and see things a little different than I did from the state level. But when we're able to walk into an agency and understand everything that they're experiencing, because we've both done it for combined, almost 50 years together, there are problems or challenges that they may be working through that we have a network of people that can solve that already. Or conversely, we can share a solution that they have with another agency across the state that's having that same problem. And that makes us feel very valuable in the field because we're able to share that information.
One of the things I get asked about quite a bit as I'm doing agency visits is parking. Where I worked in Bar Harbor, we implemented a fairly sophisticated paid parking program, which worked well, and people have heard about it. And there's no problem if I'm coming by to talk to you about highway safety. If you want to talk about some of the parking stuff, we can do that too. We're really, in our initial training we went to to learn how to do the job, somebody used the phrase, we're information brokers. And we try to just really be in the loop with what's going on in law enforcement in Maine, and then be able to share that information as we go around and talk to people.
We understand that law enforcement leadership is inundated with emails. And they get pushed out appropriately as needed. But we wanted to produce a brief newsletter that provides information, highway safety based, that the end user, the police officer in the field, maybe the administrator, can actually use some information, what's coming up. This issue that's supposed to come out or planning to come out the 1st of April has information about the demographic data collection, the tools there. Also has some information from our Bureau of Highway Safety coordinators. Those are the men and women that interact with agencies that have grants. But again, sharing information, being the conduit to provide that, and also has contact information for Jim and I. But we're always looking for content, so please feel free to send us, either give us a call, send us an email, if there's something you feel in your community is worthwhile for a state look.
And I'll add that the communication should be a two-way street. There are police administrators out there who have ideas about maybe things they could use help with highway safety. We're able to bring those forward and maybe find some funding for them in a future year, work with them on a project and bring that back to them.
Part of our responsibility is to inventory the equipment that's purchased by federal dollars, Bureau of Highway Safety dollars, because we need to track that for its shelf life. Now, a radar is certainly going to last longer than a laptop computer, but we do bear the responsibility to keep track of that, to track it through its useful life. But one of the short-term wins that we had was able to identify equipment that still had value. It was still usable in a particular police department, but because they were able to receive town funding, they were able to upgrade this equipment. Well, we were able to go in and see this equipment still serviceable and move it to another agency that didn't have the luxury of that funding and get it in service. So that was they couldn't believe it was coming to them at a $0 cost, and they could get a few more years of good life of that equipment. It was really a short-term win for us able to do that, and that's something we'll continue to do as we move forward.
And with the equipment, we also manage, I think it's 13 speed trailers that the Bureau of Highway Safety purchased several years ago, and they're assigned to different agencies all around the state. Any agency in Maine can use those trailers, so if anybody would like to use one to do traffic counts or observation, message boards, whatever, get in touch with us and we can get one to you.
There are several different areas of discussion when we come into a police department. If we come in and we talk about highway safety issues, there's nothing saying that we can't talk about challenges or other information important to the law enforcement community, because we are a conduit to share that information. So give us a call. There's really nothing out of bounds at this point, especially since we do have the experience and the horsepower to come in and do that.
The newsletter that Pat mentioned is coming out very soon. Our contact information will be in that. We both are listed at Dirigo Safety's website, as well as the Bureau of Highway Safety on their website, as well as all of our contact information.